Hello, it's me again, Darla Boljat, and I am working on the hummingbird painting. I'm glad you could come in and join me. I have the colors I was using last time already on this palette, and I'm going to add a little bit of green because I'm trying to give the illusion of this being a Snapdragon off in the distance. It doesn't have to be exactly that. It could be just the illusion of it. That's all I need. And I'm going to add a little bit of green to help create that illusion. So we're just going to put in a little bit of green. The reason my brush is doing this, you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see where it's kind of separating on the painting itself. That is because I don't have enough water in my brush. So I need to get water and go in the paint, and it shouldn't do that anymore. This is acrylic paint. So if you're painting with oils, do not use water. That goes without saying, right? Okay, now I'm going to blend that line. I'm just grabbing another round brush, and I'm going to just come along this line between background and the green and blend that out. What I could do too, what I should do, and probably will do for next video, is mix up the color of the background and make sure that I have that handy. Okay. I don't know how much of the green I'm going to put in there, but I think I will put enough to make it look like that as a Snapdragon off in the distance. And then they have a little bit of green buzz at the top, like green and yellow, where they're not quite blooming yet. And a little bit of white maybe, looks like. Yeah, I would say so. So I'm going to get the green first. A little bit of that in there. This is Hooker's Green and Cad Yellow. Just put a little bit of a top on this little doohickey. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going to get a little bit on there. Get that illusion. And by the time I'm done, this will be hardly recognizable, but it's going to look like flowers in the background. And that's all I want. This guy will have one too that has a top to it. Don't need too many details since it's off in the distance, but we'll put the top, and this will kind of help the viewer enter into the picture right up to the hummingbird, which is my focal point. So let's get that in there, and then I'm going to put one back here too. We'll have three. Three is a good number. Okay, about there. Make that part of the top. Blending it out a little bit. So I've rinsed off the brush, and I'm just blending the color out a little bit so it's not so vividly in a shape as much as it is just the color in the background. Just a suggestion. This one's going to be the same. There we go. And then I can add in a little bit of highlights on there to where it's looking like little blooms that are about ready to bloom. I'll just put those on there. I'm going to get a little bit of white mixed with the green and paint those in. There we go. I'll blend it again. And you too. Not worried about the hummingbird yet. It's going to take a bit. I like doing the background first, getting that done, and then it's already you know, if you mess up or anything and you have to touch it up, all you have to do is use the colors that you have in the background and put them in again. So I noticed that this guy, this corner flower, could use a little bit more blooms, the base here, and I'm going to need to put a top on that one, but just get them in there and then blend them, because they would be mixed in there. There you go. And then I will put the green in there. I need to rinse my brush off really well. And do you paint? If you paint, do you paint acrylics? And how long have you been painting? I'd love to hear from you. I think I mentioned in the last video, I've been painting since 2004. I didn't know I could paint. You know, when I started, I had no idea I could paint. I was just trying something new. Nothing wrong with that. And it was more fun than crocheting. It was more fun than quilting. It was more fun than the other projects I had been doing. So, yeah, I don't know if you have similar stories out there, but get just a little bit of green in there. And some more red. And yes, I could end up with brown if I keep going the way I'm going, because I'm putting it in right there with the green. And blend that in so that it's not so vividly a sharp line. We don't want the sharp line. There we go. Let's just make it a little less of a sharp line. There we go. Just kind of blur it. And there's other techniques that you can use to blur things in the background. This one's one of my favorite because you get to control what you're putting in there, and then you also get to control what you're going to take out. This is just using a little bit of water and pulling off the paint, and then I'm going to take a Q-tip and pick up the extra water puddles that are leaving marks on here. And I don't want it to be so rigid, where it's just these guys like this. So I'm going to put in green in the background, where behind this bird, he's sitting on a branch. We'll just get this watered down and put a little bit of green off in the background. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'll bring it on around. Just little green leaves. Wherever the bird is, that's where he's going to be, or she's going to be, it is going to be. And I don't need to be concerned about if I accidentally get paint on the bird, because it'll paint right over it. Paint is very forgiving. If you don't like the way it turned out, you can paint something else over it. You can start all over again. You don't even have to, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it, because you're learning. You're always learning. Between these. Get a little bit of a background of green, and then I'm gonna really blend as best I can. Yeah, this will kind of help throw off what's in the picture itself. Is going to be foliage and flowers. The hummingbird loves flowers, so especially brightly colored ones. I'll put that branch back in. I know I had that drawn in there. I can kind of see where it's at. We'll put it back in. Not today, but it will go back in at some point. And I'm going to remember to go around and paint the sides as well. Haven't done that yet. How far up do I want the background to be? Probably just up to the bird. And I will add the sides later. Those aren't as fun to watch. But I could show you, I've got a little bit on the side. It's going to remind me. I will need to put some more over there. Well, and plus when I get all done with it, I'm going to see that there's not any green on that side. So I'm going to let this sit for a minute, and then I'm going to blend it. So that it's blurrier, because this is way too vivid for being in the background. We don't need things in the background to have a lot of detail. You don't want to be able to recognize people's faces far away. If it was blurrier, you wouldn't really know who was off in the distance. I know, I'm being sort of a perfectionist here. I just said you don't have to worry about what's on the bird because I'm going to paint right over it anyway. Plus there's a little bit of green in the bird, and you can see right here there's pink on her back, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm gonna take and blend in this green that's in the distance, and what I'm gonna need is a paper towel in my hand. That will make it so that I can pick up the excess paint. There's the line for the branch right there. That is the line. I can see it right there. Don't know if you can see it, but it's right there. It's going to go underneath her body, and she's going to be standing on it. Yeah. So I'm going to start blending around these little leaves and just getting them. It's okay if it goes on the bird. The bird's going to have green in it anyway. This is just a damp brush. I have no paint on this brush right now. I'm just moving around a damp brush. My cat's trying to join me here. There we go. Almost got on the, I don't like to have them on the tablecloth that I have this on, or the paint cloth I have this on, because his hair just seems to go everywhere, so he can't help it. He's nestled in a little further down the table, so that's fine. Okay, I'm just gonna blend it out a little bit more. There we go. And I just grabbed a paper towel. And I'm so glad you could join me today. I will have another video out with this same subject, and I hope that you tune in. Please subscribe, and please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It's DK Boljat, and I hope you have an awesome day. Okay, I'll talk to you in the next video.